Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today, Frontier announced a whole bunch of changes for the upcoming beta. That's the second beta for fleet carriers, which is beginning on the 11th of May. Now, the key changes here, there's about 5 of them or 6 of them. Let's go through them. The first is to universal cartographics. Frontier have said previously that they will look to add these to fleet carriers. These are going into the second beta. They will be available on Monday. And whilst Frontier didn't specifically mention it this time, they did mention previously that the universal cartographics will take a cut of 25% of the fee or your earnings. This will be reduced by 50%, so it will only be a cut of 12.5% if you're the carrier owner. So bottom line, if you do own the carrier and you want to go out exploring, then you'll be able to get 90% of the earnings that you make from exploration. Perhaps one of the most interesting changes here that's probably going to please quite a lot of people is decommissioning. Now, decommissioning itself is not going to go away, but what is changing is that players will be refunded the full cost of the carrier. And this is regardless of whether you choose to manually decommission the carrier or whether it's automatically decommissioned, you'll still get the full funds back. So the full 5 billion you spend on the carrier will get back in your pockets. And I assume that this will include refunding in full any services that you have also purchased and added to your carrier. Now, Frontier do explain the reasoning for this a little bit, and basically it's because they don't want the galaxy overpopulated with unused carriers. They stated that technically there's no reason that every single player shouldn't or couldn't be able to own a carrier if they so wanted, but as carriers get unused, as players stop playing, it would leave a lot of unused carriers just hanging around and clogging things up. So the automatic decommissioning is a way around that. So I guess it's not too much of a problem if you actually get all your money back, because as soon as you come back to the game again, you can now repurchase. It also means that if you want to take a break from the game, all you have to do is sell the carrier to get all your money back, and then buy another carrier when you return. Now, of course, it's not quite so easy for that for deep space explorers, but I do think this is a reasonable compromise. Now, there was also a lot of discussion among the players that fleet carriers should come with the ability to transfer and store ships by default. Same is true for modules. Well, this is something that is going to happen. Module and ship storage is now going to be a default option for carrier owners. However, for people who are visiting a carrier, they will still need a shipyard and the outfitting screen in order to use these services. But the all-important thing here is that a fleet carrier is now a personal fleet carrier. As soon as you've bought one, you'll be able to store all your ships and all your modules there. The final point then is that the tritium consumption, that's the fuel for jumping your carrier, is going to be reduced by approximately half. So that means carriers will be able to go approximately twice the distance on the same amount of fuel. All of these things will be in the beta on Monday, so looking forward to seeing how they actually play out. For those of you who want to get involved and actually purchase a fleet carrier during the beta process, there is going to be 2 different phases to this. The initial phase, carriers will be full value, that's 5 billion credits, and the reason for this is because Frontier want to get as much real-world data about the process as they can, and if they open it up too much too early, that will negate their ability to do that. But that said, later on, toward the end of beta, that's after the first week, so maybe in the last few days, they've got an event called the Beta Blowout, and this will be where fleet carriers will be reduced to just 1 million credits. So that basically means that more or less anyone will be able to buy a fleet carrier if they so want. And personally, I'm very interested to see what the galaxy will look like with hundreds, if not thousands, of fleet carriers dotted around everywhere. Now, keep in mind, these are not the full patch notes for the beta update. It's likely there will be a whole bunch of fixes going in as well, but do keep in mind that it's unlikely there will be any more significant changes beyond the ones that Frontier have already announced here. So there are a few things that I would like to see later on. That would be the commodity market actually making more sense. Right now it feels a little redundant, basically because it's very difficult to impossible to actually make much of a profit from it. But that kind of ties into the fact that really you can't make much money with a carrier in general. It looks like that module packs and ship packs will still be a thing, so there's going to be no way to stock your ship individually with ships. I'd also like to see the remote transferring of fuel from the personal inventory to the fuel tank, because basically it would allow you to keep your ship jumping from a distance when it actually runs down of fuel, as long as you've got tritium in your personal inventory. But that's not a thing just yet. Maybe not ever, but I guess we'll have to see. And beyond this, of course, there are the larger changes that I would eventually like to see, maybe as a part of a future update, such as the next era, such as selling engineered modules and engineered ships and things like that. It's likely then, for at least a few people, these issues, plus a number of others, may still call the fuller benefit of carriers into question. For now though, I think these are some very good changes. The removal of the penalty for decommissioning your carrier, plus the addition of universal cartographics are very, very welcome indeed. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.